Hey there, good evening. Thanks for spending time of your, part at least, of your holiday weekend with us. We're all laboring. Lily Zhao, Brandon Cruz, Tim Midborn. It's not laboring. We have so much good stuff to talk about in sports. Hang around for the next half hour, and here's some of what we'll have for you. The starting lineup. Parsons is a Packer. Who would have thought that the trade shaking up the NFL is pulled off by the Packers? And with him wearing number 1, that won't be the loneliest number. Who will reap the rewards with the newest acquisition? A seemingly oblivious Matt LaFleur makes us say what? The Brewers keep things going as another fill-in makes a significant contribution. It's a masterpiece evoking the Mona Lisa. And there ain't no mountain high enough for our latest high school hotshot.
If you're going to be the best player, you have to find ways to lead. And I wouldn't say I'm the most vocal guy. I'm a guy that just wants to go out there and run through somebody's face and make some plays.
At this time last Sunday night, I don't think any of us would have thought that Micah Parsons would turn out to be a Green Bay Packer this week, but he does. I'm sure down in Dallas they didn't think the Cowboys would actually trade him. It all goes down, and it really sets up a heck of a Packers season, which begins 1 week from today. Lily, I'll start with you. Micah Parsons is an impact player, or has been through 4 years of his NFL career. Will he be even more of an impact player in Green Bay or less?
I would say more. When you look at what resources he will have in Green Bay, not to say he hasn't in Dallas, but 4 years into his career, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. That's how good he has been. At least 12 sacks in his first 4 seasons, the only player since Reggie White to do that. So we all know how good Reggie White was, right? So he is on the trajectory to have a Hall of Fame career. He goes to a team that has the scheme, it has the players, it has the defensive coordinator in Jeff Hafley, who I'm sure is licking his chops right now, knowing that he can put Micah Parsons all over the field on defense and get the most out of him. Of course, he's going to draw double teams, triple teams even, but he is that talented. The pressure he puts on quarterbacks and opposing offensive linemen can be talked about for years to come. So I think he will be a big impact player and he'll have a bigger career in Green Bay.
Packers are certainly putting a lot of eggs in the basket. Not only did they trade for him, they are signing him to a monster deal, Brandon, and they're giving him number 1, which nobody's worn in Green Bay since Curly Lambeau. Is that all appropriate?
Yeah, I think so. And I think what you're doing is you're showing the importance of him on this team and what he can do in impacting this defense and impacting this organization as a whole. I mean, you're paying him $188 million if it goes all the way through. 136 is guaranteed. So huge. And look at what he's done in his career. In just 4 years, 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros. He has 52.5 sacks in just 63 games. He creates fumbles, and he's even scored a touchdown. I mean, he's kind of doing it all. But what he will also do for this team is he's going to take some of the pressure off of other guys because he's going to be drawing so much attention from the offensive coordinators that you're going to see the likes of others do well and have more opportunities, even along the line with him or behind him, just because of all the things he can do on the field.
And comfortable in the spotlight. You get that as being a Dallas Cowboy, and he knows how to talk the talk.
Winning is everything to me. I don't think you're going to find a more competitive person on the team or anywhere in the NFL when it comes to anything we do. We could go out shoot hoops. We could go out there and throw a baseball, see who could throw the hardest, whether it's miles per hour. We could go run 40-yard sprints. I'll wait till you get tired if you're faster than me. I don't think you're going to find someone that's more competitive.
So Micah Parsons coming aboard. He will practice this week for the Packers. One guy departing along with those 2 first-round draft choices in the trade is Kenny Clark. Lily, you've been around Kenny Clark. He was the last standing Ted Thompson-era Green Bay Packer and definitely leaves a legacy.
He really does. Again, longest tenured player left in Green Bay, like you mentioned, and just a stand-up guy. He took a really big leadership role this offseason. We talked about it, hosting film sessions at his house and just kind of taking younger guys under his wing and being the leader that he knew he could be. Again, being one of the oldest guys on the roster. And so he leaves a big void up front. Of course, the Cowboys saying we needed a good pass rusher or a good run stopper. We get Kenny Clark. So the Packers will miss his ability to stop the run up front. They'll miss his leadership, and they will miss the presence he has in the locker room.
Packers and Cowboys play each other week 4 this regular season. Get ready for that one. That's going to be big. Kenny Clark, of course, against his old team, but Micah Parsons against his old team. That's going to be huge, and that's 4 weeks before Aaron Rodgers against one of his old teams. All right, Brandon mentioned it. Other guys should benefit. Rashawn Gary, one of those?
Absolutely. Again, when you're talking about Micah Parsons, this is a really good pass rush duo, Micah and Rashawn Gary. And so if Micah Parsons is taking a double team, who does that leave open? Rashawn Gary. And you can say, yeah, his numbers dipped last season, 7.5 sacks for Rashawn Gary, but it was still a Pro Bowl year for him. So he, I'm sure, is expecting his first double-digit sack season this year for that reason. So Rashawn Gary should have a monster year. He's a guy talking about how this team does need a lot more pressure up front. I think he provides that. So this is a big signing for Rashawn Gary as well to become, a really nice 1-2 punch at the pass rush role.
And Brandon, what are your expectations now for Lucas Van Ness, who had a quiet second season, had been trending very well in camp, and now has Parsons as a teammate?
I think it's a good thing for him. I think what this allows is Jeff Hafley to be a lot more creative with him and to find spots for him to be impactful, to get to the quarterback, to be able to do things. And they like what he does all along the line. So he might line up on the outside. He might move further inside at times. And it's just the flexibility that he provides for Hafley. And again, it's another person that offense has to worry about if he continues to play like he has throughout this camp. I think that's the biggest key, but I think this frees him up and allows the defense to be a lot more creative in their pressure schemes and how they plan on attacking quarterbacks.
I think you said it along the line. You're going to see both Gary on the inside. You're going to see Van Ness on the inside. Don't forget Brenton Cox. Don't forget Kingsley Enagbare. A couple of guys who've gotten some pressure in the past who are still on this roster too. So we shall see with them. You know who's else still on the roster? Jordan Love. Now he's back at practice this week. He had that thumb surgical procedure earlier in the preseason. And we can talk about Micah Parsons. We can talk about Kingsley Enagbare. You better talk about Jordan Love if you're talking about where this team is going to go this season, Lily. And how confident are you in the fact that he's ready to help the Packers ascend past where they were last year?
You have to believe it all starts with Jordan Love, right? You can talk about all the complementary pieces you bring alongside him on the offense and what you bring on defense, but how far this Packers team goes is how far Jordan Love will take them. Again, last season we can talk about it being a down year, but when you look at all the pieces that this team has provided Jordan Love, they get him a Matthew Golden. His receivers are expected to make that next leap. You put the best 5 around him to protect him. You're expecting Jordan Love to go out there and sling the football and help his team win double-digit games this season and take them deep into the playoffs. So I think Jordan Love, despite it being, he has his left thumb, a minor procedure on that. He gets back in practice, is supposed to handle every snap. These next 2 days are really important to see how much Jordan Love can do, how well he does it, because the Lions are looming very shortly.
He's talked about consistency. As much as anything else, he wants consistency. The Packers want consistency from him. Lily mentioned Matthew Golden, who's now Agent 0. I hope he didn't buy a Matthew Golden 22 jersey for the preseason because he switched his number to 0. Micah Parsons, the first 1 in forever in Packer history, and now the first 0 in Matthew Golden. He's being given an opportunity here, a lot of opportunities actually when you think about it.
Well, it is. You've had injuries at that position throughout camp, so he's gotten a lot more reps than maybe he would have without those injuries, and he's really been able to impress, and he's really been able to start creating bonds with the different quarterbacks. Even though you haven't seen Jordan Love recently play with the ones in 11-on-11, he is still working with Love, and they are still building that relationship. And I think that has been great for this team with what their hopes are for him. So far, he hasn't disappointed, and they believe he's been able to really take leaps and bounds to be ready for this week against the Lions.
We can talk a great game in the preseason. All right, now it starts, right? We were talking about it. We weren't necessarily. Some people were talking about Isaiah Simmons and all these. Long gone. Doesn't matter. Game starts Sunday. It's a whole different world. Just put that other stuff in the back. All right, so the Detroit Lions are coming to Green Bay next. You're going to get the offense. You're going to get the defense. You tell me about the Detroit offense and what the Packers ought to be worried about.
Well, they have to be worried about the passing game and the running game. I mean, this is one of those offenses that is dynamic because you have 2 great running backs. You have a quarterback who's done so much and has great receivers, including his tight end. So let's start with Jared Goff, because Jared Goff is a guy that, yes, he's not very mobile, but he's very good at getting the ball out. He's very accurate. And then he has these running backs that can really break up the defense's plan on trying to stop him. They don't always do everything that is prototypical. They're not going to run on every rushing down. They will throw. They're not going to throw on every throwing down. They're going to run because they can create so many different looks because of the talent they have there. So when you look at Jared Goff, he has so many weapons. And Amon St. When you have that guy out there, you have Laporta at tight end. He has just too many things out there, so this defense really has to get to him.
All right, no question. You get the Lions defense.
Oh, it's going to be tough. Remember a guy named Aiden Hutchinson?
I do.
Oh, yeah, he's back. He's back. So the Packers offensive line has a very tall task to protect Jordan Love. Brian Branch, it's Kirby Joseph. It's a really talented secondary, but I think it starts up front with that pressure. Again, he missed so much time last year for the Lions. You can talk about, this defense would have been top tier had their guy stayed healthy. And yeah, that would have been true had Aiden Hutchinson not gotten hurt. But he returns a really big test up front for the Packers offense to keep Jordan Love clean and to score some points on a really tough Lions defense. It's going to be a really fun chess match on Sunday.
It's like the NASCAR season, Daytona 500, right out of the box. Biggest race you got. It's the Detroit Lions coming to Green Bay. All right, that'll do it for our Packers chat. How about the Badgers opening their season with a win over Miami? Not pretty, but the Badgers, you take the wins you can get. 17-0. They're big favorites to make it 2-0 next week. We're back in just a minute on the Blitz.
What is it when you're the lead of the parade? What do they call you?
Isthmus.
Antsiness or whatever the word is.
You know, I never knew that. You learn something new every day. Why is everybody in here? What's going on around here?
That easily could have been Pat Murphy today. If you want to just talk about not knowing what's going on, Pat Murphy's Brewers did not look like the Brewers we've seen through 138 games, but today they were sloppy.
They were sloppy. They were sloppy in the field. They were sloppy on the base pass. They didn't pitch particularly well. They had already won 2 games against the Toronto Blue Jays. They deserve the credit for where they are. They're still the best team in baseball. They, and I mentioned it in the sportscast, just look like they cannot wait to get to a day off. Pat Murphy, after the game, said that might be true, but it's unacceptable. You have to play at a different level. But he's been in the game long enough to know this is going to happen. The focus was not there in several areas in this game.
They win the series, Lily, but this was game 18 in 17 days. How much of a toll can that take? Or is it because we're just starting September tomorrow that this is going to be well behind them when things start to matter?
I think probably a combination of both. I think it's certainly taken their toll on their pitching staff, their relievers, some of their starters, and you can kind of tell it seems like a grind every day. But I will say I was very impressed with their first 2 wins over the Blue Jays. Again, no rest on the road, best team in the AL, and they come out and win the series. So that was very impressive. But I think it has taken a toll on its team. And listen, I think they're going to be really happy when they do get that day off on Tuesday because they're going to be in the midst of playing the Phillies, who are red hot right now, despite losing today. So I'm sure they're looking for a welcome break, but this is a team that's proven, listen, we know what's on the schedule. It's tough. Everyone goes through it. We're going through it right now, but they're coming out on the winning side, and that's pretty good.
One player who probably doesn't want the break is Jackson Churio. He missed 29 games. He returns on Saturday, and then on Sunday he has a huge day. What is it like to see him, who in his rehab, mind you, was striking out in every at-bat?
Isn't that crazy? The numbers in Nashville, you're thinking, oh my goodness, but he's been up here, he had 4 for 5 today, I think, had the big game on Saturday. And if you remember last year, we've talked about this, at this time of year, he had the Brewers on his back as a young kid. He was just taking them everywhere. Remember what he did into the playoffs. So Jackson Churio is very capable. He looks like it again, and that gives you cause for hope. Even today, we talk about the sloppiness. The Brewers made some hard outs. It was just one of those games for sure. So that's why I say you still have to say they are definitely the best team in baseball. When they're operating well, they're at a different level.
And it's top to bottom in the lineup, and guys that you might not expect. Andrew Monasterio had a huge August. Sure, a couple of mistakes here or there, but he hit nearly 400 this month.
Yeah, 11-game hitting streak. I mean, he has stepped up admirably, filling in for Jory Ortiz, who's still out with that hammy. But this is what I think is so impressive about the Brewers is no matter who goes down, who gets injured, the next guy steps up, right? Andrew Vaughn for Rhys Hoskins, Andrew Monasterio at shortstop for Joey Ortiz. He's been hitting really well. He's been making a lot of good plays with his arms to get defensive outs. And so I think Andrew Monasterio deserves a big pat on the back for what he's been able to do. And he's shown it that, listen, no matter where you put me in, I'm going to make an impact.
4 weeks from today, the season ends. Is Freddie Peralta the guy that wins the National League Cy Young Award?
Well, he certainly should be in consideration. Doesn't seem to be getting as much consideration as he deserves. Obviously, right up there at the top with wins this season. He's been the ace for the Brewers. No question about it. He takes the ball. He strikes guys out. He takes the innings. He would be in the voting as far as I would see it. It just doesn't seem like he's going to win it. But he's so important now. Brandon Woodruff has wobbled a little bit. Jose Quintana has wobbled a little bit. Back into the bullpen. Trevor McGill, obviously not a good situation. So guys like Peralta, who can take the ball and answer the bell, critical right now.
McGill out right now with a flexor strain. How worried, or are you worried, that he's not in during this stretch as they get now with 28 days left in the season?
I'm going to say not worried just because of how good their bullpen has been. Yes, they are taxed, but if you look on the other end, if Trevor McGill gets some time off, he gets to rest up a little bit, but when he returns in September, it's full go for him. So hopefully it is just the 15 days, but you have to look at it glass half full of let's get him some rest, get him healthy, and then have him here for the stretch run.
All right, we'll have to see what happens. It's a huge month for them, and right now they are in the perfect position to enjoy October. Well, a familiar face is back with the Bucks. That familiar face, Thanasis Antetokounmpo. He will be teammates with his brother Giannis again this season after sitting out all of last year as he recovered from an Achilles injury. The team announcing the one-year guaranteed deal this afternoon. We will be right back with our high school hotshot.
Welcome back. His mom was simply looking for different activities to keep him busy, and now this junior is competing off-road. Here's this week's Fox 6 High School Hotshot.
Hi there, my name is Zach Cowap. I'm a junior at Bridges Virtual Academy, and I'm on the MKE Rec Mountain Biking team. Pretty much exactly what it sounds like, just riding trails. Some of it's natural, some of it's man-made. I've been riding since I was really little. So I was just going on bike rides with my family. Somewhere in middle school, my mom was looking at the rec department's list of activities, and she was like, do you want to do mountain biking? And I was like, yeah, that sounds really cool. It's really cool in that we've had a lot of bikes donated. You can get started with nothing. Like we have helmets and we have gloves, everything you would need to get started. And then you're racing really just against other teams from around Wisconsin. Yeah, there's a lot of mountain biking teams. Most of the time it starts on a hill, spread people out, and then it drops into a single track, which is narrower. Normally it starts on a pretty wide grass track. And then you're just going over rocks and roots, around corners. Racing's a lot of fun, but then it's also so much fun to cheer on my teammates and just get to be around a lot of really good mountain bikers. I'd like to go to an engineering college and get a job in engineering. It's some sort of mechanical engineering, probably. I'm on a community robotics team. Yeah, we build robots and then we compete. A lot of fun. I get to do some coding with that too, which is another interest. We made it to the state level once. We've built 4 robots so far. I was born in Morocco. Yeah, my parents were working as missionaries there. I don't remember any of it. I was a baby when we moved back to the States. My parents both speak a little bit of Arabic. It's just a really great experience to be a part of this team. I'd like to come back to the team as a coach or like a helper. I'd like to keep mountain biking. I'm Zach. I'm a junior at Bridges Virtual Academy, and I'm on the MKE Rec Mountain Biking team. And I'm this week's Fox 6 High School Hotshot.
What a great story. Meanwhile, the MKE Rec Mountain Bike Club gives opportunities for middle and high school students to participate in competitive races while training twice a week. The race season started this weekend and goes through October. Meanwhile, on the gridiron, don't forget our Week 3 edition of the Fox 6 High School Blitz with Brandon Cruz keeps on rolling this Friday night. And there you will see our Fox 6 High School Blitz game of the week. Conference play kicks off, so I will head to Brookfield East as the undefeated Spartans take on Sussex Hamilton. It's going to be a great game. We'll be right back.
Here's what's coming up. Brewers back in town. Phillies are here to start the week. Pirates at the end of the week. We'll see if the Phillies are still upset about Jacob Mizorowski in the All-Star game when he pitches against them on Labor Day.
And what are they going to do Tuesday without a game here? Anyway, well,
decompress.
And it's a huge week, as we talked about the Packers kicking off their season Sunday at Lambeau Field against the Lions. Kickoff is at 3:25. This could be a classic.
And meanwhile, the Badgers look to go 2-0 to start the season. They're going to host Middle Tennessee State on Saturday. Kickoff at 3 p.m. at Camp Randall.
Where's the Badger meter, Lily? Interest?
I mean, we got to win some more games, drum up some more hype. Hopefully Billy Edwards Jr. is okay. But
Danny O'Neal did step in, and he started to turn things around in the second half, but they have Alabama after that.
A tough schedule.
It's a different fall, no question,
Yeah.
the way the vibe has been regarding the Badgers. All right, let's face it, Packer football is going to trump the Badgers, even if the Badgers are, 11-0. Let's talk about it. The Detroit Lions out of the box. Do you expect Detroit to be who they were last year?
No. I think with the change in coordinators, I think it's going to take a little time before they get there.
I'm going to agree. I think, you lose Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, things will look a little different, but it's not to say Detroit won't still be good.
And now for the Packers, they bring so much back, but how much impact can Micah Parsons have, and how quickly? That's one thing, obviously, we'll all be watching. We appreciate you watching with us tonight on our Labor Day edition of the Fox 6 Sports.